Hi everybody, today is Thursday. Welcome, welcome. We're gonna do some really fun stuff today. I'm super excited about today. My name's Sherry Seligson and I am an Apologia Science author and homeschool mom, and I just love to do a bunch of fun stuff while we're kind of staying at home right now. Welcome, welcome. I'm seeing more people popping on right now. Before I get started, I want to wait till a couple more people are getting on. So just letting you know what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a demonstration, some things that you can do at home very easily, and then the reason why I'm wearing an apron is because some of this stuff could splash and I don't want to get it on my clothes. We're going to be dealing with some chemicals here because we're going to do some chemistry today, some household chemistry. Everything that we're doing is hopefully stuff that you can use, that you have at home, that you don't have to go to the store. We don't want to have to go to the store if we don't have to. We're also going to do a fun little craft, and this is one of my favorites. The author is Ed Emberley. Anybody know who Ed Emberley is? If you don't, oh, I'm losing paper. If you don't, I recommend this guy. You can actually get library books mailed to you in most places, and so even if you don't have access to go to the library or don't have these books, we're gonna do a fun craft afterwards. It's kind of in the theme of what we're gonna be experimenting. Okay, so I wanted to start by doing a fun little magic trick. Okay, so I have my magic pitcher and I have 4 glasses in front of me here, and so I'm gonna tell the pitcher what color I want the liquid to be as I pour it into each glass. Okay, so this first glass, I want my pitcher to pour pink. So watch carefully. Here we go. Pour pink. Look at that. Can you see it? It's pink. Pink. All right, this next one, I want you to pour blue. How is it doing that? You guys see it? Blue. All right, pitcher, I want you to pour yellow. You see that? All right, pitcher. Last thing I want you to do, I want you to pour green. Out of the same pitcher. Look at that. You guys see that? I've got pink. I've got blue. Oh, maybe here. You see it better this way? Blue, yellow, and then we have green. How in the world did we do that? This is something fun you can do at home. Well, all of this has to do with chemistry, and it has to do with a group of chemicals called acids and a group of chemicals called bases. There's nothing magic about this. This is all chemistry. What I have in my pitcher is actually a type of solution called an indicator solution. So I'm going to pour some of this indicator solution in here. Where did I get this? I got this from Purple Cabbage. Let me move these forward, and I will show you my purple cabbage. Some people call it red cabbage. It's just plain old cabbage you get from the store. This stuff right here, okay? And so last week we talked a whole bunch about botany and how plants need to photosynthesize, and the reason why they're green is that the color green is from chlorophyll, a chemical inside the leaves of plants that takes energy from the sun to make food. Well, some plants have an accessory pigment or two that makes the leaves different colors, and these are the leaves of the cabbage plant, and they have an amazing color called anthocyanins that make them a purplish color. So I boiled some of the leaves just in plain old water and strained it out into the strainer, and then took the clear water and put it in my pitcher. Okay, and you can see that the leaves have lost a lot of their pigment. The pigment went into the water, and actually this leaf in particular, I'm going to hold it up close so you can see it. It has some green on it. That's because it still has chlorophyll, because it still has to be able to photosynthesize. All plants will have chlorophyll in them to produce that energy, but they have accessory pigments sometimes that cover over the chlorophyll. And incidentally, when leaves turn color in the fall, that's because their chlorophyll starts to break down, and you get to see some of the accessory pigments that are in those leaves kind of hidden by the green. So these aren't hidden. These are purple, and we're taking that purple pigment out, and it has a very unique property of changing color. So when this purple pigment is in the presence of acids, it turns pink. When it's in the presence of bases, it turns kind of a blue or a green or a bluish green. And so this is a very strong, what I did was I had a little tiny bit of other liquids in these glasses. I took, for the pink one, I took some drops of vinegar, just regular regular white vinegar, and I put that in here because vinegar is an acid. It's not a super strong acid, but it's an acid. Then for the blue, I took something kind of neutral. I just got some liquid shell and stuck a couple of drops of that in there. For the yellow, it's actually kind of whitish now. I used bleach, just regular bleach. This is full. And then for my green, I used ammonia. Now, if you try this at home and you're using ammonia, this stuff is pretty strong. You don't want to get any of this stuff on your hands. So be very careful about that. But you also don't want to smell the ammonia because it's really, really strong and toxic. So just be sure if you guys are doing this at home that you're being real careful. And you can actually test all kinds of different liquids in your house using indicator solution. Cabbage is a great indicator solution. And so just by adding this to different liquids, water is considered neutral. It's not neither acid nor base. And sometimes, here's a great application. Sometimes when we have an upset stomach, our stomach is filled with acid, okay? And so sometimes our stomach produces too much acid and it kind of feels upset. So what do we take to neutralize that? We take something called antacid because it is a basic material that counteracts. When you mix an acid and a base, they kind of neutralize one another and produce water and salt. That's a chemical equation or chemical process. So what I want to do is I want to show you that. Incidentally as well, you can see most of what I'm doing here is on an old cookie sheet. Whenever you're working with chemicals, you want to make sure you're covering and protecting your surface. And so this is an old cookie sheet that I have that I only use for science. I don't know how many of you guys have a cookie sheet you use just for science. Well, you probably should get one. You can go to a used store or something anyway. But let me move these over. So I have just plain indicator solution here, and I want to do a chemical experiment. We're going to pretend this is your stomach. And so let's say your stomach, you ate way too much pizza or something, and your stomach is just really, really filled with extra acid. You see how that turned beautifully pink? I added acid to it, and the indicator turns this gorgeous pink color, right? Easter pink. Okay, so I'm going to say, oh no, I have an upset stomach. I want to take some antacid, and I'm going to break it up. Let's say these are chewables, so I'm not going to chew it and spit it out. I'm just going to crush it into a powder using a couple of spoons, breaking it up as much as possible. And we'll see what happens when I add my antacid to my acid. I might need to put a couple of them in here. We'll see. You see it's kind of a little more purplish in color. I think I added a lot of acid in there, so let's take a couple more. This is your upset stomach, and it's not real happy. And so we're adding antacid to it. I'm not able to crush this really well. There we go. Can you see how it's getting less and less pink and turning more and more bluish green? That's because the antacid is doing its job. It's a basic material that is neutralizing the acid in your stomach. And if I keep adding more and more of my antacid tablets, I would make it less and less pink or less and less acidic. The indicator is indicating to us, is telling us that our solution is less pink than it was before. Okay, so we have our fun 4 colors. We have our acid here. We can do this with all kinds of things. I'm looking around right here. I have some coffee, and I'm curious. Is coffee acidic or basic? Let's take a look. I have extra indicator, so let's try it. I'm gonna take a clean eyedropper. Let's just check. I drink my coffee black, so I don't have anything in it but coffee. I know some of you are probably wincing at that. All right, so I have just some coffee in here. Let's pour some indicator in here and let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. It's pretty neutral. Some coffees can be more acidic than others. And so in this case, my coffee is pretty safe. It's not really hurting my tummy too much, which is good. But you can try this with milk, lemon juice. Think about liquids in your household. You can use solids too. Liquids are a little bit easier to deal with. But try and see whether things are liquid or solid, or acid or base. And you can make a chart, you can have acid, you can have base, and you can write which ones as you're experimenting with your fun indicator solution that you make from your cabbage. Okay, we're gonna transition to a fun craft, and this is kind of, I'm trying to think, what can we do with a craft that's acid and base? And I really can't think of anything, but I still want us to do some activities and things that you can do with your kids. So making that table, making that chart, that's kind of math. Understanding how to make a table is a very important math skill. So as you're doing what is an acid and what is a base, you have to understand how to create a table and how to label properly your table. If you're doing something for science, your tables have to have a title. So you can have your kids come up with a title for what is an acid, what is a base, and in your household, something like that. You can come up with your own name of that, but that chart is actually building math skills. You're building thinking skills and problem-solving skills with your kids as you do this project as well. Again, using simple things that hopefully you have around the house. I don't know about having purple cabbage, but you might have some purple cabbage in a salad mix or something. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use, I love this, this is called Picture Pie. This is an Ed Emberley book, Picture Pie, and this has some great activities. And I have a bunch of Ed Emberley books. One is with using fingerprints and making all kinds of fun little creatures out of fingerprints. If you guys are interested in that, please let me know in the comments what kinds of things you want to see so we can do this. But I just made a bunch of circles, and using circles, this ties into math as well. We can cut these into different pie shapes and make fun little creatures and glue them on. So I'm gonna actually make a couple of birds. I'm going to use one circle for my bird body, and then I'm going to take another circle. I'm going to cut it in half. So that's half, right? And then I'm going to cut it in fourths. So there you go. You got your fractions going, right? My kids like to do fractions with food for some reason. Don't know why. Slices of cheese or something. But I've got I've got a fourth. So you take a whole and you add a fourth to it, and you glue those on. Let me grab some glue here. Here we go. If you have a glue stick, it actually works better. I don't have any glue sticks, but I'm just gonna use regular Elmer's glue and some Q-tips. I'm gonna glue these down. Here's one. There's my little tail. And then I'm gonna give him a beak. I've got orange, cut it in half, cut it in fourths, and cut the fourth in half and you have eighths. Anybody ever do these? These are so much fun. I'm gonna glue this down just like this. And then I'm gonna take a pencil and give him two eyes. You could use markers and some legs. And look what I got. I have a cute little bird. Okay, we can do more. We can, here's a pretty blue bird we can do. Watch this. We're gonna take a circle, a blue one, cut it in half, and then we're gonna cut this one in quarters. We're gonna take a half and a quarter and stick them together. So here's my quarter, like this. Again, this is not my idea. This is from Ed Emberley, and I love Ed Emberley stuff. Who else knows who that guy is? Great classic. Okay, and so I'm gonna glue them down like this. You can see I'm gluing it like this right now, okay? And then I'm gonna take one of my fourths and I'm going to cut it into an eighth. Let me tack some of that down a little bit better. More glue. Okay. Hopefully this is getting your creative juices going, creative juices of your kids, so you have something to take. My hope is you take this and you run with it. Okay, I've got my little beak shape, which is 1/8 of the orange one. I'm gonna glue that down and stick it right here. And then I'm gonna give him an eye. I'll show you what I'm doing in just a second. And a couple of feet. And look, I've got a bluebird. Isn't that fun? You can take these and make a story about them, write a little caption underneath each one, fold this paper into a book shape, add another one here, and other pages on top of it, and make a story about what your birds are doing. Lots of fun things you can do to add to this. There's parrots you can make. I mean, take your shapes, cut them up, and let your kids come up with something they can make from it. really lots of fun to do with this. So I hope this was enjoyable. I hope it was a lot of fun. Try some of these at home. Let me know how things are doing as you're doing them at home. Send photos in the comments. I'm going to check back and check any of these comments if you have any questions, any requests. Tomorrow we're going to try to do something outside and see how things are outside. I'm not sure if I said today was Wednesday or Thursday. Today is Wednesday, isn't it? And if I started off saying this is Thursday, I apologize because the days are just kind of blending together. But we're going to continue to do this as long as we can. I want to just kind of be here to be just a sounding board. If you have questions, we want to be here just to make your days a little more enjoyable, a little more productive, and a little more fun as we try to do things from home with our kids and make this time redeemable. So thanks for joining me. I will see you this time again tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern time, and we will do some more fun activities. Thanks for joining.